Hi guys, welcome to Gemma's English Gem's post/video on AQA Language Paper 1 and 2. So this is an overview of the whole exam. So hopefully by the end of this, I know it's a little bit boring, but it will hopefully be helpful in you working out what goes on which paper, what skills do I need, how does this look? And actually, I made a decision that you're going to do more of the work than me today. So make sure you have pen and paper and potentially your phone, because you might want to be screenshotting or however we want to do this. Make sure you're ready. Okay, here we go. Share my screen with you. And hopefully you can see this. So AQA Language Paper 1 and Paper 2, we're going to just map out what question goes on what paper. Now, obviously, the biggest difference between the papers is paper 1 has one extract, one text, and paper 2 has two. And 1 is fiction and 2 is non-fiction. So they're your biggest differences between the papers, and they should help you in trying to distinguish what question goes where. But see if you can work these out. So we're going to just have a look at building the paper. I'm going to show you a question and I want you to think about, oh, which paper does this go on? Which one does this relate to? So here we go. Question is, a student, having read this section of the text, said, the writer brings the very different characters to life for the reader. It's as if you're inside the coach with them. To what extent do you agree? Blah, 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 blah. So, is that paper 1 or paper 2? We're thinking about a question here that is asking you to agree/disagree, but be careful on that one. Evaluate how well a text has been written, how well something has been done. You've had enough thinking time. It goes on paper 1, and it's question 4 on paper 1, the one that's worth all of the marks. Now, if you want to find out more about how to answer that question, let me know and I will post a video for you on the essentially evaluate question, where we want to be kind of agreeing with this statement as much as we can. What's next? How does the writer use language here to describe the effects of the weather? Tricky one. Is language on both papers or is language on one paper? Paper 1. So we have there, how does our language, and this is the second question on the paper. So only a couple of marks up for grabs here. Should be a nice, quick, have a look at the tiny little extract that they give you. And then from that little extract, pick out your quotes, pick out your techniques, and really zoom in and focus on the language. Now, if you don't know what I mean by zoom in, again, you want to be having a look at one of my videos or letting me know so that I can go through with you really how to hit those 7+, because this is the most important thing, and everyone's able to hit 7+. Everyone's able to talk about a word and why a word has been used and the effect that word has. So please don't be sitting there thinking that, oh no, this isn't for me because I'm just a grade 4. No such thing. Everybody is able to explain the use of a word or the purpose of a word and really get some good marks on that question. Okay, next. Kind of a bit of a hint in the question. You now need to refer only to source B. The letter by Henry written to his father. How does Henry use language to try to influence his father? So suddenly we've got a language question again. Well, we just did a language question on paper 1. So this must be paper 2, but also it says source B, and we know that paper 2 is 2 sources. So it's got to be going on that side for paper 2. And exactly the same, it's a language question, words, phrases, techniques, metaphors, similes, whatever you can find. Really zoom in, focus. As examiners, what we are looking for is your ability to really pick something apart, really look at it in detail. And that's the same skill on both papers. So it's a really important one to get your head around. Next one. Choose 4 statements below which are true. Then you have your tick boxes of whether you think the statements are true, and you have to choose 4 of them. interesting because both papers have question 1 as quite a simple ease into the paper. This one is paper 2. So you have to think about what statements are true. Whereas in paper 1, they'll just ask you to list 4 things, bullet point 4 things. So there's a nice simple questions. How has the writer structured the text to interest you as a reader? Structure question. Paper 1. So paper 1 is suddenly looking, I know it's not the same one here, but it will be in a second, your list 4 things, language question, structure question, evaluate, agree with the statement question for question 4, and then your writing section. So you can see here we're talking about structure. Again, I'm going to post a separate video on structure because it is not as complicated as everybody thinks that it is. Structure is actually quite simple to write about, and we have those parts of at the start of the text, throughout the middle of the text, towards the end of the text, and we're looking for changes in tone, changes in speaker, characters, whatever it might be. And I will, like I've said, put a separate blog video together for that. Sorry, I don't know why I said blog, because I do not blog. The next one. Homework has no value. Some students get it done for them. Some don't do it at all. Students should be relaxing in their free time. So you're given a statement. Write an article for a broadsheet newspaper in which you explain your point of view on this statement. Now, if you can remember, sorry, that's my phone. If you can remember from the beginning, we have paper 1, paper 2, fiction, non-fiction. So an article should be falling into our non-fiction, because on our paper 1, we're going to be describing and thinking about elements of stories. So this one here is going to have to go across the paper 2. And what I'm going to be doing here is really thinking about how can I get an opinion, because opinion, having a point of view, having your own voice, having a bit of an argument, which I know you guys are really good at doing. You want to go and do something, your parents say no, you're going to come up with a reasoned argument as to why you should be allowed. This question is exactly the same. Let your personality, let your character shine on this question. Yes, we're going to be looking at a statement and we're agreeing or disagreeing with it, but it's the voice that comes out of the article or the letter or the speech or whatever they're asking you to do that really hits up at that top band. To have that confidence in your writing and have that confidence in your point of view, because again, it makes a massive difference to the marks. And I'm not going to do any more because we could keep going forever. This is an overview. This is where you probably want to be screenshotting or taking a picture. We have the full rundown of paper 1 and paper 2. So as you can see, we've got 4 questions on paper 1 and paper 2, questions 1 to 4 that link to the reading section, and they are worth 50% of the marks. Question 5 on both papers, that's the writing section, and that is also worth 50% of the marks, which everybody forgets. You wouldn't believe the amount of papers that I have read and the amount of students that have come out of their exam, running to my classroom and gone, oh, I ran out of time and I only wrote like a couple of paragraphs, probably 15 minutes on question 5. And I honestly cannot explain how cross I am at that moment of just wanting to shake them, because did you not listen to anything I said? But it's really important because 50% is on your writing. 50% of your grade is on your ability to write in a certain style, and that's so important. We all get bogged down by these really heavy reading papers. My advice is always do the writing section first, but obviously if that doesn't make sense to you, you want to discuss that, drop me a message and I'll explain to you kind of the reasons why. But just remember, it's equal weighting. It's 50% reading, 50% writing. So you should be spending a good 35, 40 minutes on question 5. Don't run out of time because it's worth the same number of marks. And that pretty much there is your paper 1, paper 2 for AQA English language. Just before I finish, here is another little thing I've put together, which looks terrifying, but actually is really useful. This puts, in a nutshell, something for your fridge to print out, to keep. You can just see paper 1 in the top section there. What do I need? Question 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then for paper 2 at the bottom, question 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is a nice little reminder of exactly what it is that I need to be doing, exactly what this is that I need to focus on. And there you go. That, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, is AQA Language Paper 1 and 2 in a nutshell. So if you're a little bit worried, if you've got the exam tomorrow, where have you been for the last 12 months whilst I've been posting these? Or if you've got 12 months to prepare for your next kind of mocks or the actual exam, just make sure you know what you're going into. You know what the exam is asking of you. You know what you need to be doing. I will be posting videos for each question type as we go through. All I need you to do is subscribe. Subscribe, share, tell your friends, join my live lessons, and that will make me happy. That's all I need. So enjoy the rest of your day, evening, weekend, wherever you are in the world, and thank you very much.